You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.
If you're just listening, I was trying to mix up our original. Leave it. It plays itself out all the time.
All right, it's what I do.
I do. If you guys just listen, you wouldn't know that we start the show always with a fist bump. And I was just trying to mix
it's
it
like
up.
a backhanded fist bump. It's not a real.
What
It's
does
like
that mean?
this. It's like a little simple little touch like that.
Backhanded fist bump would be this. I'm putting my hand behind my back.
And here we go, starting there.
Backhanded fist bump.
The backhand of the fist bump. Where a fist bump is like this.
So
Normal fist bump is like this. This is just like a little quick little thing. You know what I'm saying?
What is this called?
Back of the hand, bitch. And if you keep
Is this the back of your hand?
You want to feel the back of
And
the
this,
hand?
so this is the front of your hand. Your palm is the
I
front of
guess.
your hand.
Yeah. Wow, your palms are really hairy.
The top of your hand, I guess.
Your
is what-
hand. Your
oh my
palm-
God, my arm.
No,
my,
your palms are really hairy.
I have no hair on my palms.
You know what that means?
No.
Okay.
What does
You
that mean?
masturbate, you get hairy palms. You never heard of that?
Never.
Really? Look it
Why
up.
would you get hairy palms?
That's a saying. You look it up. You don't believe me? Let's see if it's true. Oh, you kids are so deprived of all the important sayings.
When you
What it would say? Hairy palms definition.
hairy palms meaning. They used to tell children that masturbating would result in a variety of
There
physical
you go.
maladies, including hairy palms.
There you go.
Okay, so that's from like the 20s.
Right,
like
but
that's
that-
such a.
that's
It's
what
like
we
an
do.
old wives' tale kind of
So
thing.
I used to always, when I was little, have to always wax my palms.
Oh,
But I'm
God.
bummed.
You know, a good thing about like I'm ambidextrous for the most part, like 90% ambidextrous.
Of course you are, Bronson.
I write with my right, but that's the only thing pretty much that I do with my right. Everything else I flip back and forth. And that I with masturbating as well. It's very convenient.
All right. Bronson, stop. Seriously, Bronson.
I'm being dead serious. Though.
Yeah, okay, and I'm being dead serious.
Because sometimes
you're
your arm is like you're not feeling your right arm hurts, and it feels different. The left arm. Oh God!
I don't even. I'm telling you, the first girl you meet, you have to marry her.
You say that so much.
Because do you understand? When you listen, like that's not normal to even say that.
Also, is your throat all right?
No, I wolfed down the peanuts.
Yeah, that's how you've been starting every episode now, and then you cough. So maybe when we're doing a podcast, you don't do that.
Or maybe
Learn from your mistakes.
it's not a mistake. I like it. I wanted to
Right,
eat
but
it.
then this whole thing is about listening. And
But
if you're listening to
everybody
someone
knows
go,
I do that stupid.
that's not enjoyable listening.
Okay, then they don't listen.
All right,
It's better to hear you fucking jerk off with both hands. That's pretty disgusting.
that's a skill.
No, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Isn't that crazy to think that you've touched, like by the transitive property, you've touched many penises? Every time you shake a guy's hand, it's like you've touched a
Why
penis.
don't you go into some topics? Because we are 100% going to lose listeners because of you.
No, I think this stuff's funny. I think we lost
Okay,
listeners last episode, which we can talk about.
Okay, let's talk about that. But I'm telling you, as a listener,
You're not
it's
a listener.
funny. I'm listening right now to you. I'm literally listening right now to you. Do not talk about that. How do you know we lost listeners last
I don't think we actually did. I just wanted to bring up last week's episode was very argumentative, I could say. But we're okay now, I would think.
Of course we're okay. I love
Right,
you,
but
my son.
I wanted to tell the audience that because I think some people might have in their
Got turned off?
family, like in their family, if they had an argument like that with their dad, it would have been like, I don't want to talk to you for a little bit.
Okay, well, listen.
That's not how we do things.
And it was not an argument. I was very annoyed.
Really?
Doesn't
You
mean
were?
I was, and I'm not. Doesn't mean I'm arguing. I'm just very annoyed. And look, I love you. I told you I love you, we're good. It's no big deal.
Right. I just wanted to bring that up.
Okay. And if we
But
lost
this week we're
listeners
back
for
to
that,
your
we're gonna-
regularly scheduled programming of classic daddy issues.
So why don't you? Because the last couple of ones we have not really got to any issues
But like, you mean current
or
events?
topics. Yeah. So
We've
why
definitely covered topics, just not current events. And people, so in our last Patreon episode, actually, which came out today, we went into a whole discussion on the ideas of right and wrong, and if right and wrong can even exist. You think there's an absolute, for sure, factual right and wrong. I said that's not true. And then we also got into a whole discussion about how I think that everything in the world is natural because humans are natural and therefore we created everything. And so like New York City and a Tesla is as natural as a beehive or a beaver dam.
Or a tree or grass.
Yes.
Or a mountain.
Yes. So we got in, those are topics. They're not current events. But we've been, interestingly, the last couple episodes have been like more long form discussions rather than here's something that happened, reaction, here's something that happened, that reaction. And our Patreon members said they really enjoyed that. I
tend to enjoy that a little bit more too, between you and me, because like I'm so sick of this bullshit, the same fucking COVID, Afghanistan, the government. It's the same shit over and over that, I mean, like, who cares? But some people do like the fact that we talk about current events, so they feel they get their fix of news.
And I definitely want to always incorporate current events.
Because since we're correspondents, it was great when we had on our chief correspondents from the Navy talking about the military. That was great.
That was episode 43. This episode 44.
Right.
This is episode 46.
You cried.
Yes, this is episode 46 we're doing. Also counting that to episode 50, we're 4 weeks away. And for episode 50, what our plan is to do a live episode streamed to our Patreon members. So if you want to join that.
Why wouldn't it stream it to everybody?
Because that's a perk of Patreon.
I know, but if it's the 50th episode, I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's a perk of our Patreon. So if you want to watch that, patreon.com/daddyissuespod, then it'll be out as the normal episode. And we will be drinking on that episode as well. Like we did for our 10th episode. Remember that?
Will Bryce be on it?
If he wants to be.
Okay. It was funny having Bryce on it.
Yeah, we've had Bryce on a couple
times. He
has
a good element. And everybody likes Brycey Boo. What's going on with your shirt there, buddy? I got to look at your belly, and it's ripped, and it's all hanging out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it was ripped until just now.
That shirt's got to be thrown out, correct?
Yes. Oh, there's a whole rip. Wow.
Yeah, it's a whole rip, and I see that little fuzzy thing right there.
My stomach? You should be so lucky.
What does it mean that I should see your stomach? I should be so lucky?
Yes, that's not everyone is graced with the presence of.
I see that shit plenty. Stomach. Walking around with your shirt. I don't need to see it.
Yeah, but starting 2 days, you're not going to see it ever again.
That's not true.
I'm not going to live here. Why would I be here without my shirt on?
First of all, you will be sometimes staying over. And you don't think I'll ever see you?
I know.
Whatever,
I'm joking.
Dumb. Okay. Yeah, why am I even answering?
There is like big current events that we haven't touched on.
Oh, so one thing can we talk about? So I started watching Ted Lasso.
Yes.
It's a great show. You got me into it.
I told you it was a great show.
I highly recommend anybody. It's on Apple Plus, right? Is that what it's called?
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV. It's Ted Lasso. Who is the main actor?
Jason Sudeikis.
I have to tell you, it's not good. I think it's great because, like you said, it's a good upbeat, good feeling show.
It's all about being a good person, being good to those around you, making people feel good.
And it's like 25 minutes, 22 to 25 minutes each episode, so you can like watch 5 episodes in like 10 minutes. That's a joke. But I'm going to watch 5 episodes tonight. I already watched 5 yesterday. It was great. It's so
yes. I literally watched the whole first season in like 2 days.
Yeah, it's
and
addictive.
I was trying to get everyone in the family to watch it. So everyone go watch it.
Yeah, everyone go watch it. I agree.
This is not sponsored by them, so go watch it.
But it's highly recommended. Okay, so what do we got today, Bronny Bo?
Well, there's definitely been like a lot of this, like one specific story that's been big that we haven't talked about, and I think people want our
so knock it out.
On, I guess.
Hit in a ballpark.
Have you heard about like what's been going on in Texas and all the abortion stuff?
Okay, I heard some stuff about it peripheral, but I don't really know exactly what's going on. But I have heard some talk about it, but I really haven't been following because I've been working a lot.
So a week ago, I haven't been following it either because part of me just doesn't even care about it, which I know is so bad.
They want to take away the woman's right.
Well, not want to, they have. So a week ago.
They did? That is confirmed?
So a week ago, Texas as a state passed a bill into law that bans abortion, makes it fully illegal after 6 weeks after conception. The problem is a lot of women don't even know they're pregnant after 6 weeks.
Correct, because you have a cycle every 4 weeks. You can be a little bit late.
Right, and you can be late even just normally. You could be a week or two late. Abnormally, maybe you ate something weird or you took a different medicine or whatever. So you can be into 8 weeks of being pregnant and still not even know as a human that you're pregnant unless you took a pregnancy
Why
test.
did this get overturned all of a sudden? What was the impetus?
There was some Supreme Court thing that was removed. Like the Supreme Court didn't push back on Texas doing it, and Texas just passed it through. They were the first to do it. So can't they just go to another state and get it done? That's a super privileged thing to do. Yeah. Think about it.
It's religious based. It's
Well,
all religious based. You know that, right?
If you're 16 and you get pregnant,
You drive
and
across the border.
you don't want to, well, you can't drive to Oklahoma. That you can't really get an abortion under 18 there without parent. Let's say you don't want to tell your parents too, right? You can't go to Oklahoma to do it. You can't go.
What? Don't they have a Planned Parenthood in Oklahoma?
You can't get an abortion there under 18 without parents'
I don't
supervision.
know, but
you can't.
Isn't it true? Planned Parenthood? Can't you do that?
Legally in that state, you can't get an abortion.
How do you know that?
That's the law. You can't get an abortion under 18 without a parent signing off on it. So a lot of times, if you're young, you don't want to tell your parents.
What else is next to Texas?
But also, so think about it. Let's say you're in Austin, Texas, right? It's gonna take you 7 hours to drive to the next place. If you're 16, how do you do that? How do I go away for a weekend and just go get an abortion by myself?
That. Yep.
And then even the money. First of all, an abortion's not free. The travel's not free. The mental toll that it's going to take on you.
Okay, so that's the law right now. I don't know what transpired. Look up.
So Louisiana, I don't know the Louisiana laws, and then New Mexico is on the other side. But Dad, if you're in Houston and you need to get to New Mexico, that's about 10 hours. How is a 16-year-old going to do that? But that's even a thing for another story.
Right, I don't care.
That's not even the problem with the thing. Just go to another state. So they passed it. It gets even more. They passed this bill. You can't get an abortion after 6 weeks, no matter what. There's no exceptions. Rape, incest, baby,
that makes
whatever.
No sense.
No exceptions. And individuals, this is where the bill gets like even trickier. Individuals in the state can now sue other individuals for assisting in an abortion. So even
they did that as a deterrent.
Right, but that's
crazy.
They're telling the government's telling the people, neighbors, like snitch on your neighbors. And the government, if you tip off the government to sue one, $10,000.
Why?
The government will give you $10,000.
What's the reason behind it? Doesn't make sense.
They're trying to stop abortions at any cost necessary. So they want to even scare you to say, I won't even think about getting an abortion because my neighbor's watching me leave and they know that I'm pregnant or whatever.
That's terrible. Terrible. I don't know. But something had to be a catalyst. I don't get it. What was it?
Dad, since the founding of this country, people have been trying to make
abortion
illegal.
But all of a sudden, that's interesting. And the federal Supreme Court can't do anything to overturn it?
I don't know. I don't know Supreme Court law. I just know that this is law now in that state.
I'm curious to know if the federal courts can override that.
Well, there is a federal law.
No, I know that.
That is different. Right. But as we've learned this past year, the states kind of do what they want to do.
I don't see, I was talking to Bryce the other day about it. We're in the car and he's like, he's in favor of abortion and so am I. I really believe it should be the woman's choice with her body. And I get it.
At any point. That's when it gets tricky.
No, there's always, I'm making general statements.
Right.
I'm not here to dissect every time period.
But that is the conversation.
Listen, I get it, but I'm not talking about that part yet. Or like where the circumstance around how the woman became pregnant, what's the purpose of the abortion. I'm not here discussing that because that could be a 12-hour conversation, right? We can debate that all night long and dissect and get deeper and deeper in each sub-level. But he said, even though he's in favor of it, he said, I still think that, why should it only be the woman's choice? Meaning, if the man who's just as much makes a decision, it's his part, half his child, and the man doesn't want it, but the woman wants the baby, right? Then why should the man be responsible for the rest of life taking care of it?
A lot of times the man isn't responsible.
Well, no. The man is because he's a deadbeat, but legally he's responsible.
There are a lot of times where the father can have nothing to do with the child.
No. Let me explain something to you. The father legally has financial responsibilities legally to help support that
in every state, federally, no matter what.
I believe that to be the case. Yes, okay?
I don't think so because there are people that I feel like I know who are just like that happens.
No, it happens for a couple of reasons. One is a deadbeat father. Two is you can't locate the father. Three is
what if the wife
can waive it?
Right, that's what I mean. Okay, that can happen. Right,
so I want to. So, but my point is this. If the father has
not the wife, the mother, I should say.
Right, the mother. If the father wants to go ahead and they have a one-night stand with this woman, she gets pregnant, she wants to keep the baby, he says, I don't want the baby, but it's her choice and he has no say in the matter. I agree with Bryce. It's really not equitable or fair to have the father be for the rest of his life legally responsible. Now, morally, forget about morally, humanistic, compassionate component. You made your bed, lie in it, take care of your child. I get that. That's not what I'm talking about, because I believe you take care of your family. But I'm saying this guy now, for one night of sex, which anyone could be, a 16-year-old kid, whatever.
But this isn't an abortion topic. You're not talking about abortion. You're talking about after the baby's born, the father being involved.
No, I'm talking about...
So you're saying the father should have a say in the abortion.
The father should have a say whether or not...
The baby can become...
Maybe not...
See, that's where it gets so tricky.
I get it. I understand that. But hear me out. I'm just thinking out loud here, because listen.
Yeah. I think it's different. Once the baby's born, the father should have a say in certain things.
Okay, well, the father 100% is saying that. Once the baby's born, the father has just as much equal say as the mother.
Right, and I agree
That's
with that.
the law, but that's the law. I'm talking about the fact that if the mother says, I want to have the baby, and the father says, I don't want you to have the baby, and the mother still has the baby.
What if it's the other way around?
Well, I'm going to get to that.
That's the trickier one.
That's the tricky one, right?
Right.
But let's talk
Actually, they're both fucking tricky.
Let's talk about the simpler one.
They're both really
Let's talk
tricky,
about the
because you're
simple-
going to force a mother to kill her baby.
No. Let's talk about the simpler one. If she's going to make that choice, and I'm not saying I agree.
She's making the choice to carry the baby to term.
Correct, right.
Okay.
And I said, I'm not giving my opinion. I'm just bringing this food for thought.
Right. We're just talking. We're having a conversation.
Correct. If she wants to have the baby and he does not want to have the baby, then why should he be responsible to pay for the rest of his life?
I think there definitely should be
Legally,
a thing.
I'm talking about.
I think there should be a thing that if the father wants to opt out before the baby's born, he should be able to in a certain way, because the mother can opt out through an abortion.
Correct.
A father can't opt out through an abortion. A father can't force a mother to have an abortion.
Correct.
So the father has no choice to opt out.
But the woman owns it.
But the woman
Right.
does have a
Controls it.
choice to opt out. So I do think that the father should have a choice to opt out. But then that also gets tricky, because what if the father... technically, the father is the one that did it to the mother.
No, he did not.
The semen is going into
No.
I know, but
that's not a fair statement. That's not even remotely accurate. That's not even
Right,
That's not
but-
even, he didn't do it to her.
okay. So
they had sex together.
But both of them engaged in this action, and now there's repercussions for it. Is that how you want to live your life, where you can do something, you can make a mistake, and you can opt out of the mistake and let it happen?
By the way, I'm not talking about morally or compassionately. I'm talking about
No, but
legally.
I'm saying even legally, like the response,
But
you
why-
made the mistake. Now you kind of have to own it.
I get it, but
certain
but what if they
instance, not
what if they
rape,
weren't
not-
a,
you
no
know
what
what
if
I
they
mean.
weren't a condom and the condom broke?
Right. Or even they were a condom. Some condoms are 99% effective. They're not 100%.
Or what if this is in the heat of the moment they weren't wearing a condom? Something stupid. My
Right,
point.
but that's a mistake.
Okay, but the difference.
If you're driving in a car and you make a mistake and you hit someone because you weren't looking off the road, you're going to jail.
I get it, but the difference is we're not necessarily going to jail for that. But
it's not just like you can opt out.
There's
of
a
it.
consequence. What you're
Right.
saying.
That's what I mean.
But the difference what I'm getting at is the following: is this.
And I don't
Is that
necessarily believe that. I'm just
The
posing
woman,
that.
I get the woman. If the woman has the choice to say, "I want the child," and the man says, "I don't want the child," but she still has a final say, then why should he be obligated?
I agree. If the woman opts in and the man wants to opt out, he should not have to pay
No,
that.
again,
Because he can't opt out of the
by the way,
abortion.
doesn't mean I'm not saying I agree with the guy. That the guy's a loser. The guy should not be responsible and whatever. Those are different issues.
Right.
I'm not talking about. You're
talking about one
owning your
specific-
mistakes. I'm
yes.
talking about if she has the choice to want it and he doesn't want it, then why for the rest of life should he pay till the kid's 18?
I agree.
Now reverse it. The man.
The reverse is way harder.
Well, it's never going to happen.
Never.
Right? The man. Well,
I
then
mean, it's
again-
happening in Texas.
Well, the man wants it. The woman does not want it.
In Texas, that's how it is now. Even if the woman doesn't want it, it's
Well, that's
happening.
not how it is. In Texas, they're saying
The
you
law was
want-
every single
okay.
person who was on the law was a man. So it's the men telling the women.
Okay, but
they can't abort their
it's
babies.
a different fact pattern. In Texas, abortion's illegal. I'm talking about if it's legal and the woman doesn't want it, but the man wants it. That's going to be a harder issue because,
That'll never happen.
well, did you ever think that the government would force you to get a shot? I never thought that.
No, that would never happen in liberal America. Now, if that changes, who knows? But I mean, that is kind of already changing. The Texas government is forcing a woman after 6 weeks to have that baby, no matter what. They're forcing you to do it.
I like this.
If you live in Texas.
I like
now you can leave, but that's not an option for everyone.
I get it. I like to see the legislative intent. Like, how do they come up with 6 weeks? Why are they no?
Because the heartbeat.
No, there's people that just say that.
No, so the law isn't 6 weeks on the dot. It's when a heartbeat can be registered, and that typically is the 6 week mark. That's
and
what.
Why
it
are
is.
there no exceptions? There's so many different things that are messed up out there.
The main problem, I have 2 main problems with it. One is that the individual freedom aspect of it. Everyone should be able to do with their own body what they want to do.
But
especially all these people, all these Texan representatives and the governor and all these people are so anti-vaccine mandates. How dare the government tell us what we can put in our body? But they're forcing someone to put something, to keep something in their body.
Hold your second thought, because you didn't say the 2 reasons. You said the first one, but I wanted to. Okay,
it's like that's so hypocritical.
I agree, it is. First of all, stop playing with the cord. First of all, I personally, which you agree with me on this, I know because you just said it. I 110% believe it should be a woman's choice. That's just my own opinion. It's her body, it's her choice. I believe that wholeheartedly, 100% believe that. 2, the reason why
it's your child, though. Let's say you were the father. It's her body, but it's half your child.
Okay, I get it, but I also believe that but again, I come from a different mentality. I don't really think it's the child until after a while.
Agreed. And I even think
that's my gut. And then wait, hold on. I want to say one last thing. That this Texas thing, there should be a separation of church and state.
That was my second thing.
This is all religion.
That was my
this
second
whole thing.
Thing.
Is religion.
There should never be a single law in this country that is even influenced by religion.
But it is,
right?
Which is a joke.
It's not even
I'm
influenced.
anti that.
It's fully religious.
Fully religion.
There's no legal political reason for it.
No, because it goes against, as you said, hypocritical in their political views. It's all religion based, and I don't like that.
But even if you took that out, like you can't provide a legal reason to not let a woman have an abortion. It's only religious and moral. And we should not make our laws in this country based on those 2 things.
That's why I would like to see the legislative history behind that. I know it's too early, but I would love to see like the transcripts, whatever, as to what's the reason behind it, because it's totally religious based. And unfortunately, you have it in schools. The church and state, which is supposed to be separate, it's so overlapped. It's not separate, and people
it isn't at all in this country.
In almost everything. And people are stupid to think that it is.
Well, no, this country is a very religious country. And if you talk about not being religious, you'll never get it. Like in politics, I mean, the reason why it's a religious country is because so many people in this country are religious. And then therefore they want their world to be their religion.
That's why they even run for politics, so they can change things.
And you could never win a seat in politics in this country.
If you're
if you say I don't believe in a God, you will never do it because people won't vote for you.
That's right.
Because people, which I get on the one hand, and I do get if you're a religious Christian, devout, you believe in the soul, God, you believe that life happens at conception, because that's what it says in Christianity, and you believe that life is so precious and is a miracle that you can never get rid of it. Which, first of all, that's very hypocritical because Christians are the one that send soldiers off to war to die. So life isn't precious to them. They are the ones who block healthcare for all. So life isn't precious to them. They pick and choose when life is precious to them because it's about control, really. But so if you say life is precious to me and all this stuff, I get why you would feel so strongly about an abortion. Because if you truly believe that that's a soul in there, and that's sacred, and that's part of God, and the God that you believe and love and is the king of the world, created that soul with a purpose, and then someone else is now going to kill it, like that's horrible. That's so bad, because it's an innocent soul even. So I get their point, why they're passionate about it. I just think that that's wrong. I just think what they believe is wrong.
Okay, see, I think that, and I'm going to go one step further on that. I don't know if the people making these laws are so compassionate about it.
That's why, I said it's about control, not about compassion.
I think it's just about the fact that, this is what our religion believes. We got to support our religion. This is what it is.
I think it's more than that. I honestly think it's like misogynistic. I think it's because I think if men were the ones that got pregnant, abortions would be like going to CVS and picking up a thing of Advil.
Right.
Like truly, I think part of it is a misogynistic, sexist control over women.
You're right.
I think
and what about
that's part of it.
Does Texas believe in the death penalty?
There's not life isn't precious to a Texan.
Correct. That's what I'm going to say.
They will kill someone for doing something, but a baby is off limits to kill, and it's not a baby.
That's a bad move what the Texas did.
And so a lot of people, and it's complicated too, because on the one hand, I do think they're their own state, they have their own government, and they put this into law. And if the people in Texas, if 51% of the people in Texas want this, then I'm okay with it as an idea of law. Like that, they can do that. I don't think it's morally justifiable. And if I was in Texas, I would leave. Like I was in California and I left.
Do you think it's going to help Florida? And the reason why I say that is because
I think that law might happen in Florida. They're saying that this is going to be a domino effect. That all the southern states that have been having people trying to push hard abortion laws, now that Texas was the one who actually could do it. The first time they actually did, I don't know why they did or how they could. People are saying that this is going to be a domino effect. All the other states are going to be able to start passing it. I like to believe that Florida won't do it, but I think that if Florida doesn't, and people were moving to Texas as well as Florida, I think this will be very good for Florida because people will move here opposed to Florida. Opposed to Texas, you mean? That's what I meant. I'm sorry. A lot of people in this country are up in arms about this. A lot of like liberal women are very vocal.
Women should be, period. Forget about liberal. Any woman should be vocal.
But a lot of conservative women are so...
drinking the Kool-Aid?
Yeah, they're blinded by their religion. So they just have to fall in line.
The religion's terrible.
And like Austin specifically has had like a huge influx of liberal women over the last year. And I think a lot of those people might leave out because of this law, which I get. I wouldn't want to live... If I was a woman, I wouldn't want to live in a place where I would have to carry a baby.
Even if I have sons, I wouldn't want my sons. What if they got to grow up?
Right. What if I had a mistake? Right.
It's your fucking life. Or one dumb. Listen, people are human beings. Every human being makes mistakes in life. Every one of us, right?
Yes.
Imagine a stupid mistake. You're 16 or 17 or 18-year-old boy, and it gets a girl pregnant, or like I said, a condom breaks. What do you?
Which happens. I've been in situations where it's like we got to go to CVS. Not, you know what I mean? Like not to be... Yeah, but what if you're drunk and you don't even think about that? All right, this episode is sponsored by Fastbar, a new sponsor with us. So we're really happy that they reached out and want to support the show. Great fit for us, actually. We're both intermittent fasters ourselves.
Correct.
I don't eat for 12 hours a day. You're up to
just dinner.
60, right? You only eat dinner.
Like 18, 19 hours.
And so with this bar, have you found it helping you?
I found it very helpful because I drink a lot of water, try to fill me up, but you miss the wanting to eat and chew something. So this thing's been great because it actually doesn't spike your glucose, and I friggin' love it. So I keep these in my drawer in my office, and I fucking love it.
So Fastbar allows you to reach your intermittent fasting goals, which can be a challenge due to hunger, mental focus, dips in energy, emotional hunger. It's the only bar scientifically formulated for intermittent fasting, which is great.
And keto, it's right.
It's fully keto, gluten-free, made without soy, dairy. It's full plant-based protein. So it fits basically every diet that's
and they taste great. Like this I love. This is the lemon berry. It's
a good one. So it comes in 5 flavors: nuts and honey, cacao chip, dark cocoa, the lemon berry, and the blueberry acai. All super tasty. If you guys are intermittent fasters, if you're looking to just cut weight, because everyone can cut weight, and it's hard when you start intermittent fasting, it's hard at first.
It is hard.
So something like this can really help you extend that fast time and not feel like you have to cheat.
Yeah, and at 2:30, I'm always jonesing for something. These things are perfect. They're awesome.
So you can get Fast Bars. They're available at Sprouts and fastbar.com. They're available at Amazon. It's about $3 a bar, and you can use the code DaddyIssues for an additional 10% off all the already discounted price at fastbar.com. And just so you know, benefits from the bar were seen in a randomized controlled study in 105 adults after a 15-hour overnight fast, comparing the glucose and ketone results every hour for 4 hours in the Fastbar group, breakfast group, and water fast group. The data is on file for that as well. Make sure to use that code code DaddyIssues for an additional 10% off the already discounted price at fastbar.com.
And it works, guys. I'm telling you, to our listeners, you know the way we are. I'm telling you 100% it works. I'll tell you, either way, it's a bad it's a bad scenario, because we are 100% in agreement that it should be the woman's choice. We don't think that it's all religion-based, the decision, and we don't agree with Texas rule.
right
ruling.
And here's where it gets more complicated though. Like, where do you draw the line? So you're like, it should be a woman's choice.
I mean, you, Jonathan, or you?
No, like
someone?
like you, Jonathan. Is it a woman's choice up until the day she was about to give birth?
No, I don't. You mean what time from the 9-month period she get an abortion?
Right. Like when is it now not her choice? Because you said it's a woman's choice.
Okay.
When does it become not her choice? Because there's a day.
I'll tell you my thoughts.
For me, it's honestly, I don't even.
Okay, I'll tell you my thoughts off the cuff without giving a lot of thought to it. But just if I had to think quickly, if I was in court, whatever, I would say, whenever the fetus can be able to sustain itself on its own outside the womb, then that's when it should not be aborted.
But
does that make sense?
I agree. Whenever it can be taken out
and survive.
Yeah, because not killed.
I'm not talking
out.
I'm not talking about like it could survive and feed itself. I'm talking about. I mean, it could breathe.
It will grow up into a person.
It'll be a baby.
It'll be right. I agree
not
with that.
webbed hands.
But like, how can doctors determine that? I guess they can. I think
know.
they can.
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know any of that stuff.
Me neither.
I'm not
I think
a doctor
they
or a
can.
scientist, but I do know that when a baby's this big and I'm showing like an inch and has webbed feet and whatever, I don't consider that to be a child.
Right, but religious people do. Religious people, even once the sperm has entered the egg, it's a soul.
Okay, I get it. I don't agree with it or understand it. And again, I don't agree. But a soul to me is different than a human being.
To you, it is, not to like a religious Christian.
I'm saying to me.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. And I would love to have a conversation with someone that's religious and to hear their thoughts, not because they're told by their priest or what they were taught to believe. I would want to have an intellectual, normal conversation to hear their thoughts. To like, if they were debating me as to prove me and show me why I'm wrong, I'd be open to have that conversation. If they'd be open to hear my thoughts.
I would think they would say like, who are you to take the life?
That's not what it is. That's not.
But once the sperm has gone into the egg, if left to do its own will, it will become a life. So it's on its way to being a person.
Well, okay.
It's not a dead cell. If nothing happens to it, it's a person.
Well, okay. That's not necessarily true because it still needs the mother as a vessel. That's why I go back. If the baby can't survive without the mother, then to me, I think it can be aborted. If the baby can survive without the mother, you know what I'm saying, and breathe, then I think then it should be aborted. And then I'm just making general statements. Without giving a lot of thought to it.
I mean, how can you tell, like, what if one day the baby could survive and then on a Monday and then or like on a Sunday it can't survive on its own, and then on Tuesday it could survive on its own, but then you aborted it on Sunday. It's like, oh, is it one day away from? It's just that's what's hard is every single case is different, so you can't put a blanket law.
I'm not saying to put a blanket law.
I'm not saying
Texas
you're saying.
did.
I'm saying it's unfair. It's not. It makes no sense to put a blanket law on something that's so subjective. But you could
put a blanket law that it should be the woman's choice. The government should not tell her. Generally,
what if the woman raped the man and now is carrying the baby? That's not her choice. Why would that be? Should that be her choice? What if I'm asleep, drunk, passed out in a party, a woman has sex with me, and I'm unaware of what's happening because I'm so drunk, and then she is like, I'm keeping this baby, and you have to like. That's a whole different thing.
There's a lot of issues. It
shouldn't even be a blanket rule of women. It's their body, their choice.
Well, then you're saying the man should. I mean, I don't know if you can alleviate every issue.
Right. That's why I'm saying there should never be a blanket law for it. Especially there should never be a law that's religious based.
But it is interesting that Texas made this law and made a blanket law. So it'll be curious to see how that plays out. I don't know.
Well, so what's happening now, which is even an interesting development and something that I've been saying since the beginning of this podcast, and it gets more true and true every day. Oregon now has banned trade and government travel to Texas and trade with Texas because of the law.
Do they have trade, the two of them?
Yeah,
seriously?
Of course.
What?
I don't know, but of
Cowboy
course
boots?
they do. Oregon is the main supplier of lumber in the country. So if Texas now can't buy lumber from Oregon, I don't know where they're going to get their lumber from. Oregon supplies like 75% of the lumber in this country. That's a huge thing. Lumber is already in a shortage.
Well, I think that's childish. I think you don't like. I mean, that's just childish. This is a new thing. I don't agree with that.
I think that is another sign. It's another nail in the coffin
separating
that this country isn't a country anymore. It's a bunch of different mini countries all in one.
The government, okay.
It's 50 mini countries. Actually, no, it's probably more like 12 because
Yeah,
like Oregon and Washington definitely would be one. You know, they'd be their own thing. Texas would be its own thing. The New England would be its own thing. But the fact that one state is like, we're not going to do trade with another country, that's the thing that countries do.
That's a new thing, yeah.
States have never done that. That's a country thing. Country to country says, we're doing a trade embargo. They're literally doing it to another state. That's crazy.
It's ridiculous. Or like California wouldn't let them come to Florida, remember, because they didn't like what was going on.
Right.
Yeah. Fucking retarded. Yeah, we got problems.
Yeah.
We got problems.
I'd be curious to see if Texans, like how many Texans are behind it. Because Texans didn't vote for this. The representatives put it into,
made that decision.
and the Texans voted for the representatives. But I'd be curious to see
that's
how
how it
many
is with
citizens.
law.
But that's not how it should be. That's
But when you
backwards.
Vote, when you vote people in, you can't keep going back to the people for every decision. You can't do that.
Why?
Because just like an employer, they don't go to the employees for every decision.
But this country, we're all equal owners of this country. We're not all equal owners of a company.
You don't have time. Or
You don't need time.
No,
we do it for the presidency.
Okay.
It takes 3 hours.
No, it takes a whole process. It's not so easy. And what do you vote on? What do you not vote on? What do you leave to
If
the
you don't want
government
to, no,
officials?
everything should be. It should be a direct democracy. The fact that we're like, oh, you are attractive and seem nice enough. You can do all the things for me. And then they can fully do things that you don't want them to do.
I know,
but the thing's already done.
All right,
it's there.
I get it. But you change it. Things happen all the time.
I know, but it's
Obamacare.
way easier.
The war with Trump. They're breaking down the wall. I mean, shit happens.
It's way easier and it just all around easier to create a law than to dismantle law. Once something's in the law,
Bronson, I get it, but I don't. It sounds nice in an idealistic world with a picket fence. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
You can go on Instagram and do a poll. Someone can ask you ask a question and you can answer yes, no on Instagram, and every single person in the world can go and do that. Why can't we have a system where it's directly to your phone? And then people will be like, but hacking. The things already get hacked. The voting machines already get hacked. Our politicians are hacked. The corruption is hacking the politicians. That's all that lobbying is hacking politicians. So the hacking argument is stupid. Do it on your phone. Anytime there's a law that comes up, you can opt in to say, I want the laws to pop up. I want to vote on them.
And how do you know it's even true?
What do you mean?
When they get the results, how do you know that?
How do you know any? But how do you know any of it's true?
But I don't know. Become very expensive to have somebody independent. I don't know if they would, to verify independent to verify it, like an accounting firm or whatever it is.
But you know how it wouldn't be, because we would have no need for a government if it was that. We would have no need for Congress, because all Congress is that. But they do it, and we have no say. They can, when those doors are closed, they can vote and say however they want. And we have
I understand this. It's corrupt. I get it. No checks and balances. I don't know what
it's just people say this is democracy. It's certainly not.
Wow.
How many people are in Congress? It's 587 in the House and 100 in the Senate. So let's say 700. It's a country run by 700 people, not by 386 million or however many we are. That's not a democracy.
No, it's a problem. I do agree it's a problem. I don't know what the fix is, but
that is the fix. Let every single person vote on everything. If they don't want to, great. But the people who want to, go ahead. Go do it. Go vote.
Curious to see what happens.
And then that would get rid of corruption, because it would go down to the individual level. I mean, actually, there would still be corruption, because who knows, fucking big oil would be like, we'll give you a $500 gift card if you vote yes on this,
Right.
But that's what they already do. Instead of a $500 gift card, they give this politician $5 million.
Let's move on. We spent a lot of time on this thing, because I know you said
one thing that just that conversation, or Texas.
No, I'm talking Texas.
I wasn't talking about Texas.
I know you told. Okay, all right. I didn't mean to cut you off. I knew you have a lot of topics, so I wanted to get to some of them. Do you have other topics? Sorry,
Yeah.
you mad I cut you off?
No.
Okay.
I saw this headline today. This headline says, San Francisco will pay would-be criminals to not shoot people.
Come on,
So it says, the city has a Dream Keeper Fellowship, which will give monthly gift cards to 10 people deemed to be at high risk of gun crime if they refrained from taking part in the city's alarming surge in shootings, as well as $300 for staying out of trouble. Those in the program will make an extra $200 if they meet other benchmarks, such as attending parole appointments and finding a job.
So they're paying the California government's paying you not to shoot people. That's what it is. If you don't shoot somebody, we'll give you $300.
And if you show up to your parole, which you're
obligated to do anyway,
we'll give you an extra $200.
Not you get arrested, but we'll pay you money.
And if you are looking for a job, they'll give you extra money.
Could you imagine? California's the most fucked up, retarded fucking state. Who comes up with this shit?
But honestly, at that point, it kind of makes sense because they have no other. This is the last resort.
No,
the last resort is to give money out to the criminals.
You think that's the last resort?
What more can they do? They just nothing they can do nothing they're doing is working.
Put them away. Put them away.
No, it's would-be criminals. It's people who have put them away for what? This is saying if you don't commit the crime, we'll give you money. Put them away for not committing a crime.
Who do they make the determination to give it to?
I don't know. It's the Dreamkeeper Fellowship. It says people deemed to be at high risk of gun crime. I don't know what I don't know.
White people, Asian people, black people.
No, it's specifically black because it says that this is part of the mayor's 2-year initiative to invest $120 million into the city's black community. They plan to start in October and expand to around 75 people a year in the program.
75 people.
Who will now, if they don't, at the end of the year, if they didn't commit a crime, they get money.
Okay, so this is an article over 75 people?
Well, yeah, it's an article about that San Francisco is doing such an absurd thing.
They want to plan to give $300 gift cards to 75 people. They actually wasted their time as government officials to make that rule.
Their idea to stop violence is to give out money to not commit violence.
So wait, what is? Let me just figure this out for a second.
It's $120 million that's in the plan.
So we take $300 times 75 a year. That's $22,500. Okay, I think they should give bonuses out to police officers to arrest people that commit crimes. They give them a $300 bonus. They get it for the first 75 people they arrest.
Why should they do that?
I'm joking. My
bonus for doing your job.
That's my point. It's a joke. I'm saying, if these people are going to commit crimes, they're going to commit crimes. Do you think they're going to stop?
See, I think
they're not going to stop over $300.
Well, that's not going to stop.
It's not about education.
There's a different problem there. They're not committing crime because they want money. They're committing crime because there's other issues. There's a root of the problem. And saying
this doesn't cure anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's not. It's putting a Band-Aid on something rather than
Band-Aid.
stitching up the thing.
It does not. So we've all determined. I think what we've determined is to prevent crime in inner cities and things like that. There's just always going to be crime in inner cities. That's what it is. But to help the black
inner cities, what does that mean?
I mean, like city life is going to be more crime than non-city life, I would think.
The more people that live together, the more crime.
Cities. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but when you say inner, what is an inner city? Because that term is weird. Like I'm actually
Boca.
thinking, what is
Boca
an inner
is a
city?
city, but I'm talking Miami.
So
it's like
but inner you mean big.
I mean,
is Coral Gables, which is the really nice part of Miami, is that inner city?
No.
Then what's inner city? Brickell, that's the center of Miami, where I live.
You know what I'm talking about, the heart of it. Heart.
Right. So
whatever
that's
that
what
means.
but I do think there's a racial connotation to that word. I don't think people say the inner city about white neighborhoods that are poor.
But I have a question. Is it racial or is it a fact that maybe these minority areas commit more crimes? Could it just be a fact? Is someone saying it was racial weight, or someone saying because it is a fact?
Even if it's a fact, that's still the work. Racial doesn't mean bad. I don't mean racist. That's why I said racial.
But racial has a negative
inner
connotation.
City means.
Would you not agree?
Racial.
Would you not agree? Racial has a negative connotation.
No, racist.
Seriously?
That's why I specifically used that word, and not said a racist connotation.
Okay, but
actually, it is racist because it's not racist.
It's bias.
Inner city.
It could be bias.
No.
I think it could be a fact. It could be a fact. When they say, "Oh, Boca," it's all those Jews. Well, could that? But that's a fact,
right? But if someone kept using the word "wealthy city" to mean a Jewish city, you would be like, "Why are you using the word wealthy?" That there's a racial connotation to that, not racist. There's not a negative aspect to it. All I was saying is. Yeah, whatever.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
I don't think people
have ever used the word inner city or not ever, but I don't think people generally use the word inner city to mean a white neighborhood, a Hispanic neighborhood, an Asian
Because
neighborhood.
maybe the inner city might be a black neighborhood. That's just the way it is. Because white people might say maybe they have more money, maybe they were given a better opportunity. Who the fuck knows the reason why? But maybe say
Right, it could have evolved that way.
I'm moving out of the inner city. So the inner city is a poorer black community. We do know that, generally speaking, that black communities or Spanish communities are generally not as wealthy as white communities. That's part of the problem why BLM movement and everything else. That's a fact. Whether it's racist, racial motivated, or the way things were not fair and the whole thing with slavery. But the facts remain that people will agree that white communities generally are better socioeconomic than black or Spanish communities. So if they're inner city and poorer communities, by deductive reason and factual and statistically, it might be a black community or Spanish community.
Right. And that's all I was getting at.
Right,
I agree.
but I don't think it's necessarily racial. It just could be what it is.
No, but right. There's this trend on Instagram where they take pictures of people, like a boy and a girl, and you have to guess if they're siblings or they're dating. It's called siblings or dating. And you look at a picture. No,
people have no life.
Do you think you'll be good? Like, do you think you'll be able to tell if someone's dating or if they're siblings?
I have no idea.
So it's a thing. It's fun. We can go through a few if you want to.
So you're going to post the pictures on the thing for people to see?
Well, they'll be in the video right here. I'm not going to post them anywhere. They'll be here.
That's what I meant.
Yeah. So if
when
you want to watch,
post it, meaning that's a video.
But like to people listening, if you say you're going to post it, they'll might go to like look to Instagram. No, if you're listening, if you want to look at it, it'll be on the YouTube video.
Gotcha.
But I guess we can describe what we're looking at too.
Go ahead.
So it's an Instagram account called Siblings Are Dating. And so you look at the first picture and then you have to try to guess if they're siblings or dating. They're 100% siblings. They have to be. They have the same eyes and lips and skin color.
Are you racial profiling right now?
Yes. That's not wrong to do.
I think they are dating. She's a little too close to the hug. That's a little close. The hand around the hip like that.
The hand in the hip.
That's a little bit much. And she's about to put her hand on his chest with the phone. That's a little too much. I think they're dating. How do we know the answer?
We go to the next slide. Let's see. Dating.
Word up.
Okay. Two women. They don't look anything alike to me.
So you're saying siblings are dating, not friends?
No, it's called siblings or dating.
Okay.
It's not called friends, siblings, or dating.
Fuck, because
they've got to be dating.
I'm going to go with siblings.
Why?
Because they don't look like true lesbians. And the other one looks so much older, and the blonde looks a little bit older. And I just think the way the selfie's being done, I think that they're siblings.
Let's see. They're siblings.
Damn, I'm fucking killing it.
57% of people voted that they were dating.
Correct, because most people are fucking morons and stupid.
That's a sibling hug. I feel like their smiles are sibling smiles. I don't know why.
1 minute, let me see let me see what
the way they're smiling. It's not romantic. There's no romantic element to this.
They're dating.
Why?
Because he's young, he's a little uncomfortable, and she's leaning in, and I don't think they look alike at all. Told you.
Wow, I'm horrible at this game.
Okay,
we can do one
3
more.
for 3. This is fun. Actually, it's addicting.
Good looking couple.
Let me see. You got to zoom
Stylish.
in. Can you zoom in?
Both attractive white people. Her arm is on his shoulder, leaning on his shoulder, which is sibling-esque. But his hand on her hip is a little...
It's a little weird.
His hand on her
but
hip.
She has no interest in him, and he has a stupid fucking look on his face. Oh, wait. I got to go 4 for 4. 1 minute.
He also looks a little gay. I think they're siblings.
Oh, you've been wrong, but the odds are in favor that you got to get one right. I'm going to go with siblings.
Siblings.
Siblongs? They call
spelled it wrong. Siblongs.
All right. So I'm 4 for 4?
Siblongs.
Should I quit or should we go one more?
Oh, fuck.
They look similar, don't they? Their face. Their chin and their mouth.
No, their noses are different. Their eyes are different. They have different eye color. They have different. Their hair is completely different.
Wait. 1 minute. So here's a white couple. Interesting. They both have look at the.
I think they're siblings.
Lips.
I think they're siblings.
What's that? Is that a white bag? Is that a white bag? What is that?
She's holding a piece of paper or something. The way they're smiling is the same, even though their lips are different. The way they're smiling is the same
exact.
And their dimples are the same. I say siblings.
I'm going siblings.
Dating.
Wow, they won't last.
He kind of looks familiar, that guy.
All right, so I got 4 for 5.
Okay, we'll do this last
Oh,
one.
you're killing me.
That's impossible. They have to be siblings.
They are 100%. Look at their cheekbones. They're 100% siblings.
They have to be siblings.
100% siblings. The chin and the cheekbones are identical.
Hair color is the same.
The
Eye color.
cheekbones are identical.
And
Siblings.
the lips and nose.
Identical. And then they're lying if this ain't dating. They're lying.
Oh, they're dating.
Well, you know what they are?
Incest?
100%.
Like they're first cousins or something?
No, brother and sister. That was 100%.
They're the same person.
Wow. I should have quit while I was ahead. Fuck. That's a fun game.
Yeah, that's like just a trend on Instagram. And I was playing it the other day, and I just was like, oh, we could do that.
How'd you do the other day?
I never do well. I don't know why. Is that like a skill that you should... Like, why wouldn't I do well at that? I don't know.
Not a good judge of people.
How is that? How are you judging people in that, though?
Your first
It's
impression.
just their
It's a
looks.
first impression. No, it's the whole thing. It's their body language, how they're leaning into
But
each
they
other.
purposely choose ones that are like misleading. Like that. This is sibling body language. Their smiles,
100%.
the head on the
But
head.
look at their round cheekbones. They're identical. If you took his hair away and put her hair on, they'd be the same
They'd
person.
be the same person. Agreed. Yeah. Okay.
Huh.
Well, we did that.
All right. So one of our members, one of our listeners, good friend of ours, who's also Patreon, has COVID in the hospital, so he's doing better. I'm not going to mention his name. But shout out to you, brother. And he's now in a regular room, and he's still on oxygen, but he's been in the hospital for 2 days, but he's getting better. And he had the shot, and he had COVID.
Right. He's had COVID before, and he had the
Right, and he's
vaccine.
now in the hospital. Is that interesting?
Look at that.
Scary shit.
Yeah.
So we've been texting and communicating. But
Also, shout out to another Patreon member and listener, Maggie, who is training for a marathon. And she says she listens to the podcast to help her train and motivate her. And she just let me know that.
good job,
So
Maggie.
keep it up,
Good
Maggie.
job. Yep. That's not easy. I remember doing all those runs. It was not easy, and it definitely takes a toll on you. But it's a major accomplishment when
Yeah.
you've completed. So good luck to you. And Ronnie, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
It started off strong. We lost it for a moment and then got back on track.
Lost what? That's
You know what
just,
I'm saying? It's not going to change our life.
No, I don't think lost anything. I think that's just our relationship as people. That's also the type of people we are too.
That's true.
Especially you always blow up at things all the time.
Really? And you
Yes,
always
that's a
interrupt
dumb
with, and you interrupt with things all the time.
Yes. So that's just who we are as people. So it comes out across on the podcast. People listen to this because they want our authenticity. So if
They
we
got
cut
it.
out the parts where we didn't like,
Oh, no.
it would
I
be
agree.
stupid.
I agree. So should we go watch some Ted Lasso now?
Sure. Yeah. I've already watched the whole thing, so I'm rewatching.
But we're spending time together before
Yeah.
you move out.
Tomorrow's my last day in the house.
You'll be back.
Well, of course I'll be back.
Right.
I will never be back living here. I mean, never say never. But,
Wow.
well, no, that wasn't a dig.
No,
That
I
was
don't
a-
take it as a dig. Come on. It's all good. All right. Love you, Bronny.
Love you too.
Later, everybody. You're joking, right?
Well, I'm trying to be hopeful. I'm trying to be optimistic about that.
Well, I guess you're too young to be a little pessimistic like me. The fucking things I see out there, people are stupid.